Why do you think so many men are traveling overseas to find wives in other countries?
Men are traveling overseas to find wives. Why? I'm right here. I'm single.
No,
Why?
no.
I want to be married.
Right, but I'm saying, do you typically see women traveling overseas to
Men
find
are
husbands?
traveling overseas to countries that have less money and less education. It's because they want a woman who is dependent on them for their livelihood, for their resources, to have a good life. And I don't think that that is a good thing.
First of all, this whole thing about women in other countries having less education, if anything, women are more educated in other countries. If you look at most of the places that guys go, the college tuition is actually free. So you get with an American chick, women in the States, typically when they have a bunch of college degrees, they typically have a bunch of college debt too. So from a financial perspective, most women if you try to marry an American woman, she already comes with a bunch of debt.
And don't get me started on the country that has the highest single-parent household rate in the world. In America, women are incentivized to leave you. They can take half of everything you work for, and 9 times out of 10, they get the kids, they get the house, and you have to pay her for the rest of her life just because she decided one day she's tired of you. Now, I'm not saying women don't get divorced in other countries. However, the divorce laws are more strict and they're more fair, to where if a woman wants to leave, she's free to leave. However, you don't just get incentivized to leave. In America, there's food stamps, there's Section 8, there's all sorts of government subsidies, all the things that a man historically has provided for a woman. But now it's like a woman can say, hey, I don't want to be with you anymore. I can go to the government and he's going to be the man.
Because see, women today, they look at cooking and cleaning as slavery. But compared to the people before us, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, who left a legacy that we still cannot measure up to, they had 5 or 10 kids, all in one household, same mother and father, same last name for everybody. What is our culture now? It's teaching women to focus on your career, be single, sleep with as many men as you want. Those values, it's not about control, it's about the values. In Western societies, especially in the States, we have this society where we're all about proving that we don't need somebody. But the reality is, humans have always gotten through the whole existence of mankind by having somebody. We're not made to be a separate. We're not made to be apart. That's like trying to prove that you don't need your mom. It's like trying to prove that you don't need your brothers and sisters, that you don't need your family. Other groups, they know that they need their family. They know they need a husband. And one thing I rarely see in other countries is a woman that lives on her own. Most people are so connected with their family. Most women that I've dated, most women in other countries, they don't go, see, women in the States, they'll go from their mom's house to their own apartment at 18, 19, 20 years old, or off to a college campus or something like that. But women in other countries, what I've seen is women typically are raised with their father and their mother in one household, and they typically don't leave that household until they're ready to start a family. So you'll see women 25, 26 years old still living with mom and dad because it's smarter that way. It's more cost effective. Why go out here and pay a whole nother rent and buy a house when you can just wait till you find a man and y'all can do it together? Because that's how other groups of people do it. But in the States, it's like, no, I gotta do it on my own. I'm strong and I'm independent. I don't need no man. Okay, keep that energy and keep it over there. But I know women in other countries, they want a man. They need a man. So I don't care what reason. It doesn't matter why. They know they need a man. They were raised to want to cooperate and be with a man. When you were a kid and you depended on your mom or maybe your dad, most of y'all didn't have your dad growing up, but you depended on your parents to raise you. So when it comes to the way you view a husband as if he has any type of control in the relationship, it's oppression and it's slavery. Would you go to a restaurant with bad food, bad service, and extremely expensive? Or would you choose a restaurant that has good service, good food, and cheap? Why do you think so many companies outsource? Apple manufactures all their stuff. And look at Apple. Not just Apple, but most companies. Where do they manufacture? China. So why do they outsource their stuff to other countries? Because it's cheaper. They get a better deal for what they're trying to accomplish. So men that travel overseas, it's not about control. It's just women are raised to be wives. They're raised to cook. They're not raised to be strong, independent. I don't need no man. They're raised to, I can't wait to be a wife and have children and have a good husband. That's what their dream is. Not all. I'm not saying all women overseas are perfect, but you see far more wives overseas than you see strong, independent, I don't need no man. And it's not even just about survival. If a woman is about survival, she won't be with you in a relationship. They typically will just do some pay for play. Like, okay, you give me some money, I'll give you access to me, and then that's typically how that works. But most women overseas don't do that from what I've seen. If she doesn't actually like you, even in Brazil, which is probably the country that's known for, well, most famous for, beautiful Brazilian women that you can maybe hook up with. I'm telling you, it's not like that. A lot of these countries where if a woman doesn't like you, she's not going to be with you. I'm just telling you straight up. If it's not like some immediate cash And she's not gonna be, around you like that. It's just like y'all gonna hook up one night, you give her $50 or something like that. And it's a gorgeous, beautiful woman. Which I'm not insinuating that type of activity, but I'm just saying that's how it works. But when you get you a woman that actually likes you and wants to be with you, especially in Brazil, they don't operate on money. They operate on respect. So they just want a man that respects them, because in their culture, most of their men, they have this, in America, like if you're masculine, that's considered toxic masculinity. Well, in Brazil, their version of toxic masculinity is just mistreating them. See, in America, toxic masculinity is just being a man and being a leader of a household. But in Brazil, their feminist movement is stop beating us, stop SAing us, I don't know the best word, graping us, stop beating us, stop abusing us, things like that. But American women, it's like, we want to be strong and independent, we want to have a career and all this stuff. Okay, that's fine. But men who actually want to build typically want a traditional wife. Now, a lot of guys, I want a woman that, has a good job and stuff like that. That's fine. You can get a woman like that, but she typically comes with more masculinity. Me, I will pay the cost to be the boss. The reason why most American women see a man that provides as toxic is because they've never seen a masculine man provide for them. They're used to growing up in a single mother household. That's why it's so important to get with a woman who was raised with a masculine father, because she knows what it's like to have a man that provides, a man that she can depend on. Women that grew up in a single mother household is just them against men.
A lot of the men I know that go overseas to find wives are not great dudes.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, they're pervy.
You know what's funny though? There's actually more women. Women have been traveling overseas for years. Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Dubai.
And I'm here to tell all you lonely white women about a wonderful new service called Rent-A-Dread. For only a few dollars, you can get an authentic Jamaican yachty to help you get your groove back.
Gambia is the smallest country in mainland Africa. It is a beautiful country. It attracts a whole lot of tourists into the country, most from Europe and the US. And over the years, the country has become a sex destination for tourists, especially white women from Western countries.
If anybody's taking advantage of impoverished people, it's mostly women that I've seen. But the people that actually go to find a wife is typically men. Now, are there sex tourists men? Yes. But guys that I see, they don't travel just to find someplace to hook up, because you can get hook up anywhere. But guys who actually want a wife, I see them in the Philippines. I see them in the DR. I see them in the Brazil. I see them in Colombia. I know plenty of guys. And it's just sad that they try to shame you because you left the plantation. They're mad that you decided to do what's best for you. They're mad that you were smart enough to realize that you know what you want. You don't want a masculine woman. You want a woman that knows the value of a man. You want a woman that has traditional values, not this toxic feminist shit. How can you have a family? If you want legacy, if you want children, how can you build with a feminist? A woman that's going to have your son probably putting on a dress, because most feminists, they typically agree with transgender ideology and shit like that. Most feminists I know, they're allied to the movement, to the tranny stuff. So I don't understand how you can build with somebody like that. Think about it. Think about your grandmother. Think about your great-grandmother who was married 50, 60 years. Like, women nowadays, they can't be married longer than 3 or 4 years if they do get married. Divorce rates at 50-something%? In other cultures, they're married, like, even in the Philippines, divorce is illegal. So you marry somebody in the Philippines, y'all together for life. The only thing you can do is flee the country if it don't work out. But I'm just saying, like, go somewhere where marriage is more of a sacred thing. As soon as she gets tired, she gets bored, she wants to divorce you and take half your shit, it's just safer. When you marry a woman abroad, it's safer, okay? She can't just fuck you over and take everything you work for the same way an American woman could. That's why basically divorce is incentivized in the States. So if you leave your husband, we'll make him give you half of everything he's earned, and we'll make him pay you alimony for the rest of your life. So you can feel like you're strong and independent, don't need no man, because you already got a man that's paying you for the rest of your life. Who wants to marry in a culture like that?